They paid billions into Social Security and never get a dime back. Deport them all? Then say goodbye to your retirement. They don't realize it, but the very people they're trying to deport, the ones working under fake papers, are the reason Social Security is still alive. They've been paying in for decades, billions. No benefits, no retirement, no payback. Just invisible labor that props up a system they'll never get to touch. And if ICE gets them all out, if they finally take their country back, the safety net collapses, the checks stop coming. They think they're hurting immigrants, but they're about to destroy their own future. Repost if you're tired of watching this country cut off its own lifeline out of hate. Where do you stand?
One of my favorite things to do in my free time is to look at Twitter threads of Republicans arguing with Grok. Check this out. It begins here with this user saying, "Hey Grok, how much money will the U.S. lose in payroll taxes and Social Security due to Trump's purge of undocumented labor?" It responds with, "Undocumented workers contribute $26 billion annually to Social Security via payroll taxes, per ITEP and SSA data. But very few receive benefits. A full purge would mean a similar yearly loss, exacerbating Social Security's projected 2035 insolvency by reducing inflows without cutting payouts. Diverse analyses agree on net negative impact, though scale is debated." Then this genius comes in here saying, "Grok, okay, compare that to how much they cost us in financial aid programs for the one that don't work and are cheating the system." Grok says undocumented immigrants contribute $66 billion annually in federal taxes, including $24 billion to Social Security without drawing benefits. Mass deportation could lose $300 billion or more in revenue over 10 years, plus $860 billion enforcement costs. Going on to say that welfare costs us $12 billion a year, mostly via U.S.-born kids. Undocumented immigrants are ineligible for most of the aid. State and local are $10 billion a year, mainly through education and health. Therefore, their tax contributions far exceed aid costs. This is what they don't want you to understand. Undocumented immigrants are not draining the system, they're propping it up. The real 1% that we need to worry about are the billionaires. They are destroying our system.
Undocumented immigrants cannot collect Social Security. Every payment they make into Social Security, they never get back, unless they become a permanent resident or U.S. citizen. In 2022, undocumented immigrants paid $6 billion into Medicare, almost $26 billion into Social Security, and $97 billion in total taxes. Those are tax dollars funding our deficit, your Social Security benefits, keeping Social Security afloat. You don't believe me? These are government facts.
Undocumented individuals cannot collect Social Security. Let's clear up a common misconception. Social Security benefits, whether it's disability, retirement, or survivor's benefits, require a valid Social Security number. And if you're in the United States without legal status, you cannot get one. Now, some legal immigrants can qualify for Social Security, but they have to meet strict requirements, like working and paying into the system for years or having specific visa statuses. But if you're undocumented, you don't get Social Security, period. So where does this myth come from? Maybe it's because some undocumented workers still pay into Social Security through payroll taxes when they use an invalid Social Security number. The government collects the money, but those workers will never see a dime of it back in benefits. Social Security is not being depleted by undocumented workers. If anything, they're paying into a system that they can never use.
Illegal immigrants and illegal immigrants drawing benefits.
Sure.
Tell people about that. Is that really a thing, or how does that really work?
So it's not really a thing. It's, but I do get those calls also. And I know that what happens is, my clients were prospective clients, people who have been denied, are in sort of the worst space that they can be in. And so all the bad thoughts come out. But, we're not out there paying illegal immigrants to receive disability benefits. There are primarily two types of claims that you're going to file. One is based on what you work and pay into the Social Security system for. And so we know if you're in that space that you're a well-documented person here, whether you came in as a foreign worker or you are a permanent resident or whatever the situation might be.
Illegal immigrants are not and cannot collect Social Security benefits. I know that might surprise some people, but it's the truth. Despite all of the misinformation that's out there, undocumented immigrants are not eligible for Social Security retirement, disability, or survivor's benefits. In order to receive Social Security benefits, you need to have a valid Social Security number. You need to have paid into the system legally, and you need to meet the work credit requirements, none of which are possible without a lawful status. Even if an undocumented immigrant works and uses a fake or borrowed Social Security number, those taxes still go into the system, but they'll never get that money back. It just sits there helping fund everybody else's benefits. In fact, the Social Security Administration maintains something that's called the Earnings Suspense File, which holds billions of dollars in uncredited earnings, mostly from people without valid Social Security numbers. So next time that you hear someone saying that undocumented immigrants are draining Social Security, remind them. The facts actually say the opposite. They're actually helping to prop it up without getting a dime in return. The truth matters. Let's keep the conversation based on facts, not fear.
Come back to Find the Dot. Today, we are addressing one of the biggest misconceptions out there. Can undocumented immigrants collect Social Security? The truth may surprise you. Stick with me because I'm going to break it down clearly and share some advice. Thanks to the original creator who brought this important information to light.
Undocumented immigrants are not eligible to receive Social Security retirement, Social Security disability, or Medicare benefits. In the current election cycle, there has been a lot of banter back and forth between parties where President Donald Trump has accused the Democratic Party of bringing undocumented immigrants into the United States, which is taking benefits away from hardworking Americans, meaning that they get Social Security retirement benefits, Social Security disability benefits, and Medicare. However, that is simply not true. The truth of the matter is, although there's many undocumented immigrants who are paying Social Security taxes because they work in work settings where taxes are being taken out of their weekly checks, when they go to apply for benefits, they're ineligible. You must be a legal citizen in the United States in order to receive any of those various benefits. So actually, what happens is people who are coming into the United States illegally, paying Social Security taxes, they're not hurting the Social Security trusts, they're kind of helping it. Because what they're doing is they're paying taxes without the ability to actually draw the benefit of where their taxes are going to. It's an entirely different conversation whether or not people who are undocumented immigrants are taking jobs away from Americans. That's very possible. But the fact is, they're not taking away Social Security or Medicare benefits from Americans.
Holy cow, folks. RFK Jr. and the Department of Health and Human Services announced today that they're restricting access for undocumented immigrants to get Head Start and other federally funded programs. Now, back in 1996, there was a major welfare reform bill that was passed that restricted access for undocumented immigrants to various federally funded programs such as non-emergent Medicaid. So the big, beautiful bill, when we talk about these Medicaid cuts, it doesn't affect these undocumented immigrants because they don't have Social Security numbers. They can't get Medicaid anyways. But in 1998, there was an interpretation of that policy that allowed for some wiggle room, including getting access for Head Start. So this is a program for lower income children to be able to have access for nutrition and for schooling. And so by barring access to this for undocumented immigrants, they're essentially not going to necessarily be able to go to school. And this is really problematic because children can't advocate for themselves. We need to be standing up and advocating for them because they need to have a brighter future.
Well, it was bound to happen with this administration. The new Trump administration is removing the Social Security disability checks for all undocumented people. He said, no more. If you're undocumented in this country, you will no longer get Social Security disability. Who's going to tell him, though, that undocumented people are not eligible for Social Security disability? Yeah, someone needs to tell Donald Trump that in order for you to get Social Security disability, you need a Social Security number, a valid one. Surely he knows this, right? Here's the funny part. People don't believe that undocumented people pay for taxes, but they do believe that they get Social Security benefits. Make that make sense. Surely somebody's going to tell them. I'm going to take it upon myself to write to the president. Mr. President, did you know, sir, that the undocumented cannot get Social Security disability? The reality is they should get it because they're already paying taxes into the system, but they will not see a dollar out of it.
So let's set the record straight. Undocumented individual cannot collect Social Security, whether it's retirement, disability, or survival benefit. Every program under Social Security required a Social Security number. If you don't have legal status in United States, you cannot qualify for this benefit. Now, some legal immigrants may qualify, but that comes with strict requirements such as years of working and paying into the system. Having specific visa category. On the other hand, many undocumented workers still continue to contribute to the system through payroll tax, often use invalid social security number. Government collect this contribution, but those workers will never see a return in benefit. This means Social Security is not being drained by undocumented workers. In fact, they are pulling money into a system that they will never be able to use. This reality shows the sacrifice many immigrants make just to work and survive in US. My advice to undocumented immigrants is this: understand the law as clear as possible, seek trusted legal resources, and avoid falling into mere that could mislead you. Misinformation can be dangerous. It can cause people to make life changes decisions based on something that simply isn't true. Protect yourself with fact, not rumor. Finally, I give credit to the creator of the original video for helping us to share light on this issue. And to all my viewers, if you find this documentary helpful, please hit the subscribe button, give this video a like, and share with others. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Your support keep us going on this channel, and please kindly chip in your honest opinion. Thanks.
Not a single undocumented immigrant in this country gets a dime in federal taxpayer dollars